All right, gentlemen, like it or not, fall is on the way, which of course means jackets, sweaters, flannels, and all the layers are about to start happening. The problem is, though, a lot of us throw on a bunch of different layers and then end up looking more like the Michelin Man than a well-dressed man. So today, I want to give you some tips on how to layer properly, how to stay warm, how to look sharp, and also avoid that bulky look. But honestly, layering is really one of the best parts of the fall season. It gives you depth, texture, and a lot more variety with your outfit choices. But if you don't do it quite right, you can end up looking sloppy and a lot bigger than you actually are. The good news is, I want to share a few simple rules that's going to keep you looking clean, masculine, and sophisticated. So let's go. First things first, use the thin to thick rule. So think of layering like building a house, right? The framing members are generally the thinnest pieces, just like your base layer, your shirt. Then you build up with medium weight pieces like a knit sweater, and then finally your heavier outerwear pieces like a wool jacket, a suede jacket, or even like a pea coat. Where things tend to go a little bit wrong is putting bulky items too close to your body. If you start out with a big chunky thick sweater, it's almost impossible to layer a few things over that without looking like a stuffed sausage. Instead, though, keep the order more logical, right? Think thin on the inside and thick on the outside. Now, of course, it depends on where you live and everything, but this can also help regulate your temperature because you can easily just peel off your jacket when you walk inside someplace and still look nice and sharp in your base and your mid layer. Next, keep it to 3 layers, right? Shirt, sweater, jacket. That's basically all you're going to need in the fall. Of course, again, depending on where you live. If you try to stack like 4 to 5 things, once again, you're just going to look overstuffed and you'll end up being uncomfortable. So here's an example, right? A custom button-up shirt in like a fall flannel fabric, a lightweight merino wool, maybe crew neck sweater, and then like a suede bomber jacket. That's 3 layers and it's going to look terrific. Now, if you do need some extra warmth, add some gloves or a scarf. That's going to be better than just trying to stack on more layers. Next is making sure the fit is dialed in. The first rule of layering and style in general is, of course, fit. If your base layer is too big and baggy, everything that you stack on top of it just won't look quite right. And that's why a lot of us who wear off-the-rack shirts struggle with layering because the torso might be too big or too wide, the sleeves might be too long, and then everything just gets bunched up underneath the sweater. And that's why I want to introduce you to today's sponsor, Tailor Store. I've talked about these guys before, and I recently got 3 brand new shirts that were custom made for me. And let me tell you, fit literally changes everything. Imagine clothes that are literally designed and made for your specific body, right? That means no more guessing what size you are or dealing with things that don't fit quite right. Tailor Store creates clothes that fit perfectly right out of the box. And the best part is, if it doesn't fit you perfectly the first time, they'll just remake it for you for free to get it exactly how you want it. I went through the whole fitting process, and they also have a really cool design tool. It lets you choose every single detail from collar style to cuffs and also fabrics. Tailor Store has been perfecting the art of custom fits for over 20 years. They know exactly what they're doing. They also own their own production facilities, which means no middleman driving up the cost. That means you get high quality, custom-made clothes at a better price, and you're also supporting a more sustainable way of shopping. Because unlike mass-produced clothing, when they produce thousands of items and only half of them sell, the rest of that stuff just goes into landfills as waste. With Tailor Store, they operate on a made-to-order model, right? So that means no garment is produced until you place your order. That means there's no unnecessary inventory and 0 waste from any unsold stock. They're also right on top of all of their orders, and they get to your order quickly so you don't have to sit and wait around. Gentlemen, I am extremely happy with the entire process and, of course, with the shirts that I got from Tailor Store. If you want to go check this out for yourself, there's going to be a link to a custom landing page down below in the description. If you've ever had a difficult time finding shirts that fit you, you should absolutely give Tailor Store a try. Okay, the next tip on layering is to go with contrast and texture, not volume, right? This is where a lot of people miss the mark. layering isn't necessarily about just adding more fabric. It's about the type of fabric. It's about contrasting textures. So think of it like this. Here's a good example. Think of a smooth custom cotton shirt under like a chunky cable knit cardigan. Or think of a thin white shirt under like maybe a suede jacket. The difference in that texture creates depth and style without adding any additional bulk. Fall is the perfect season for this because fabrics like tweed, corduroy, wool, and flannel, all of that comes into play. Just remember, you don't necessarily need to go heavier, you just need to go more interesting by contrast. Next is paying attention to the proportions. Proportions matter because if your jacket is too short or your sweater hangs out in some weird way, you're going to look sloppy. A good rule of thumb is this: each layer should be slightly longer than the one beneath it. Here's what I mean. Your shirt hem shouldn't be sticking out way past your sweater hem, and your sweater shouldn't be really any longer than your jacket. Try to keep everything balanced and intentional. And again, this is why a custom shirt is a good idea, because when sleeve length and body length are actually tailored to you, you don't get that weird awkward bunching at the cuffs or hems that hang down way too far. Next is to stick to a fall color palette, man. One of the easiest ways to nail fall layering is to use a nice cohesive color palette like the fall. So think about deep greens, burgundy, navy, camel, and of course some earthy neutrals. Look at the colors you see in nature during the fall season. These color tones work together naturally and also look and feel seasonal. Now here's something else to think about when it comes to your outerwear. Again, it kind of depends on where you live. But if you do everything right with your shirt, your sweater, and all the proportions, but then if you throw on some giant parka, it kind of undoes all that work. Choose outerwear that complements what's underneath, right? A nice wool jacket, or think about maybe a good-looking suede bomber. These are going to give structure to your layers instead of swallowing everything up. And since your base layers are nice and fitted, you don't need some massive jacket to stay warm. You'll look clean, put together, and dressed for the season. Now look, something else to consider is your comfort and your mobility, your movement, right? It might not be something that you generally think about, but you should still be able to move and be comfortable. And again, this is where fit pays off. Shirts and sweaters that fit in the shoulders and the sleeves, that's going to let you move more naturally, even underneath the jacket. Because the last thing you want to do is be tugging at your collar and pulling your hem down all day long. And look, if you enjoyed this one, just remember that I make at least 2 videos every single week covering men's lifestyle topics, so please consider subscribing if you're not already. As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.